Okay. So I thought we might do that with your story. Just like we did write first sentences and last sentences, but I thought it might be quite nice to do it again and just put it on post-it notes. And the other thing I've got for my story is I've got an object as usual, and this is an ox. There was once an old couple, and the husband was fed up with working. He had worked all his life, and now he was about 70 years old. Every day he had got up in the morning, bright and early, had a quick breakfast and gone off into the woods to cut down trees, and his ox was his faithful friend, and he would have a harness on and he would have a small cart behind him, and the woodcutter would fill up the cart every day, and the ox and he would take it to market, sell the wood, get just enough money to live on, and he would buy the evening meal at the market with the money and head home ready for his wife to cook it. You know, they'd had 2 children, and the children had been able to help, so they collected a bit more wood, but then they had more mouths to feed, so they'd only ever had just enough to live on. And he was fed up. He was fed up with working every day of his life and just getting by. So one morning he decided he wasn't going to work anymore. In fact, he wasn't even going to get out of bed. And he said to his wife, "I'm not getting up." And he pulled the sheet over his head and said, "You can do what you like, but I'm just staying here. I am fed up with working." His wife was distraught. How were they going to eat that evening if he didn't go and collect wood and sell it in the market? She didn't know what to do. In fact, she had tears of distress running down her face. And through her blurred vision, she saw a man coming up the road. A youngish man, a little bit smart, sort of looking around him, a bit shifty, looking behind him. And the young man spotted the ox sitting there by the house. And he came and he knocked on the door. And he said, "Can I borrow your ox for the day?" And the old woman said, I don't know, I'll go and ask my husband." He had the sheet over his head. "There's a man, he wants to borrow the ox for the day. Can he borrow him?" "Don't mind, don't care." "Oh, all right, as long as he brings him back having fed him." So the lady went and said to the young man, "Yes, you can borrow him, but you must bring him back having fed and watered him." The young man was pleased, and he harnessed up the cart and took the ox off deep into the woods. Now it so happened that a few weeks back he'd actually done a robbery, and he'd hidden all the treasure in the woods, and he needed the ox and the cart to carry all the treasure. And so he got to the place where it was all hidden, and he uncovered it all and loaded up the cart until it was high, mounded high, really quite heavy for the ox to pull. And just as they were setting off again, they could hear, it was the king's soldiers. They were looking for him. Oh no, what was he going to do? He had this slow ox and the cart too heavy to pull. How was he going to hide? How was he going to get away? He just ran. He could hear them getting closer and closer. He left the ox and he ran for his life. And they spotted him and they chased after him. Meanwhile, the ox was just standing there. But every day of his life, for the last 50 years, he'd been into the woods and taken the wood back and back to the house. So he turned around and he just headed home. And the old woman saw him coming and saw there was something in the cart, and she called to her husband, "There's something in the cart, he's back, the ox is back, he's brought something with him. Come and see. Well, eventually curiosity got the better of him and he got out of bed and they uncovered it together, and there were mounds of gold coins. So they were rich. And he didn't have to work ever again. They had plenty to live on every day of their life. So instead of working, he started to carve. And he spent his time carving, and he carved little wooden oxes, and he gave them to all the children who lived nearby.